Riddle Dykes! It's time for riddle number 31753701. Where in the world can you have the most fun with Riddler challenges? In Arkham City, of course. I mean, it's obvious, it's on the thumbnail. It's actually so obvious that I think there's only a few reasons why you would agree. The first one being that Arkham World has better Riddler challenges. And I do agree, but that game is so good that I don't even consider it a video game, it's a blessing from God. Second reason is because you hate the Riddler and you hate doing Riddler challenges, and the best game for you is the best Riddler challenges, you won't have less. In that case, you are a weak little bitch, get the fuck out of my video, it's not made for weaklings like you. The third reason is that you're one of those deranged people on the internet that say like, man, I beat Arkham Knight 5 times. And the Riddler challenges just go like this when you're doing a bunch of them repeatedly. And then I do have to demand a level of sanity from my audience. I mean, everyone has standards. Or maybe you prefer Arkham Asylum, and honestly that's fair. Why don't we talk about it? I've known for quite some time that Batman games were good, but I really never felt the need to play them. Part of it is a huge disdain for gamers and their community that keep buying enough FIFAs to get one new release every year. But honestly, I'm just not that big of a fan of Batman and open world games in general. So assuming that a gigantic map filled with meaningless collectibles and petting side quests and a catwalk of a bunch of weird losers from some comics I've never read and bucket loads of references I'm too sexy to understand are as appealing to me as an overpriced hipster hamburger with too many onion rings to bite, which is an easy thing to assume because it is, what exactly can you offer me to make me play your game? Well, you can cyberbully the Riddler. I beg your pardon? The Riddler is going to keep sending you voice messages telling you to solve his stuff, and he gets increasingly angry if you keep doing it, and in the end you humiliate him and call the cops to beat him up. Fucking sold! And so I played Arkham Asylum, only to find out that it wasn't an open game and was in fact pretty good. Call me an old-fashioned book nerd, but I love when an artist has a vision they want to share and give us exactly what they planned, instead of crunching everyone in the studio to fill the bathtub with a bunch of shiny toys and going out of their way to make it possible to ignore them. Arkham Asylum's atmosphere is unmatched, and the ever-changed gameplay provided by the varied cast of villains will give you an experience that will guarantee that you will never get bored. I, for example, do not like the story, and I didn't like the Joker, the craziest Batman villain, using a plan that is so boring that it's honestly seeped into his boss fight. But the Joker isn't Killer Croc, who isn't the Scarecrow, who isn't the Riddler, who isn't Poison Ivy. So the entire game ends up being a roller coaster of different experiences that end up being unified by the same theme. The Riddler trophies end up not being a separate side quest to take our minds off the rest of the game, but a tool to guide us through the exploration of the asylum. So the trophies end up not being tests of skill or wit, but a challenge to see if we can poke through every nook and cranny of the building, find out about its history and all the colorful characters that inhabit it. And while the game is absolutely desperate to reference every single aspect of the Batman mythos to get you to buy those shiny comics, this doesn't affect the overall gameplay and story, because it's just fodder for the riddles. Ooh, the riddle mentions mask, there's a black mask on the wall because of black mask, ha ha ha, bazinga! Honestly, I can count the riddlers that have good riddles in one hand, so that's par for the course. No one likes the Riddler because of his riddles, in pretty much the same way no one likes the Joker because of his jokes. And there are some riddles that are actually really good, like those perspective ones. So if you think that Arkham Asylum's Riddler trophies were the best out of the 4 games, I will say that you definitely have reason to think so. I will certainly say that it's the best part of the game. I mean, the Scarecrow hallucinations were great, but then it would turn into this weird 2D platforming levels that look way too much like Getting Over It. And I will say that the Riddler trophies are very good, and Asylum is generally speaking a great game. I wouldn't go as far as recommending it to people that don't like video games, but if you don't like Batman or if you don't like open world, play it anyway. It's pretty good and it's pretty short. So we arrived to the sequel, the one that everyone likes. Think it's a masterpiece, and to that I say, yeah, it's pretty good.
Why not just do your job for you so we can have a little fun game?
Rick, is this a saw thing? Are you seriously sawing the Vindicators?
Morty, I'm a drunk, not a hack. You break the rules, lose the game, or try to leave, you will die. Like in... Saw. Well, I think we've seen enough. I'll just figure out how to unplug this. Here we go.
Arkham City is a place with a distinct personality. It's fun to fly around and punch random people. The story in this one is even worse. People keep talking about the Joker twist, but I literally don't understand why did it happen or why anything happens, as a matter of fact. There's just this lovely moment in Arkham City where Hugo Strange is killing everyone, just bombing the shit out of Arkham City, thousands of people dying, and then Oracle goes and says, Batman, why are you trying to save me? Aren't they criminals? Aren't they bad people? Honestly, considering this and the ending of Arkham Knight, I do sincerely believe that Rocksteady doesn't like Batman. But it's a fun video game. You don't need to question why the fuck did Batman and Mr. Freeze fight at all. You just have to enjoy the boss fight, which is actually pretty fun. And I'm gonna tell you, if you keep whining because this game has too many Riddler challenges, actually you do have a point. But I actually like the fact that there are too many, because you're constantly stumbling into them. You just trip on them wherever they go, and the number keeps steadily rising until it doesn't, then you actually need to put effort. What I said from the last Riddler video still applies. I love how the entire map is covered in this giant glowing question marks and pressure pads and stuff that you can't actually reach until you have the equipment, and they keep mocking you until you conquer them. I love the Riddler informant system. It brings a fresh new dimension to boring mook fights, giving us the extra challenge of not knocking off the Riddler informant. Holy shit, get out of the way! And I love the creativity needed to both make and solve these puzzles. Gotta tell you, Arkham Asylum spoiled me. I kept seeing these breakable walls everywhere and thinking, well, just gotta wait for the triple Bat Claw equivalent. But then I got to the end of the story missions and it sunk in how fucked I was. I think that my favorite puzzles was actually the one that resembled that carnival game of testing your strength, because it took me a while to figure out that you needed the shockwave to go the entire way. And when it raced until almost to the top, I could feel the Riddler taunting me. The actual death traps were not left behind either. They were an absolute blast to complete. My favorite one wasn't actually any of the challenging physical ones, but this.
Exciting, isn't it? Take your pick, Batman. Shall we see if you were right? What? No. How did you do that?
This is my absolute favorite one in the entire series. So is Arkham City good? Yes. Does it have the best Riddler challenges of the entire series? Yes. But are they perfect? No. In fact, there's a pretty big flaw that I absolutely hate, which is the physical challenges, how they don't make sense either in or out of universe. If I'm hunting Riddler trophies, it's because I want to take a break of the action, because I am a gigantic nerd, but then suddenly I have to fly for I don't know how many meters and defeat the enemies using some kind of gizmo, and it just ruins the entire mood. Why is the Riddler even testing this? At least the races in Arkham Knight require a degree of reflexes and quick-paced thinking, but why does this intelligence-based character obsessed with proving that he has a bigger brains than me care that I can glide over water for whatever seconds. And it totally ruins the flow of combat missions, because as the Riddler trophies, you have this constant reminder on your map, but you need to either memorize the physical challenges or open up the menu every time you're going to get into a big fight. Oh man, this fight is gonna be so cool, but wait a minute, I just need to make sure that I use the freeze ray. Yeah, okay, sure. I guess this is where the DLC comes in, because Catwoman has physical challenges and Riddler trophies, but the minimum completion is still the same. So you could skip challenges if you wanted and just do the Catwoman that are easier. Which was exactly what I did. I hesitate to call this an advantage of Arkham City, because I don't think it's a good advantage for your game to have an option for people not to play it. But it does make the game flow better, and you do maximize your enjoyment, even though I don't understand why the fuck does Riddler want to prove he's smarter than Catwoman. I guess I'm taking the zero punctuation explanation as canon.
But if the Riddler is sitting with his feet up watching the security cameras with a question mark themed mug of milky tea, while Catwoman is out headbutting masonry and picking up his litter, I think it's pretty self-evident who's smarter.
So yeah, Arkham City is the best one on Riddler terms, even though I didn't actually complete it. Not for lack of wanting though, I actually wanted to keep doing the Riddler challenges, just that I realized that I have 2 whole ass games for me to play, so I decided to save some of my enthusiasm for them. Let's talk about them. Arkham Origins is the story of a newbie Batman in his second year of crime fighting, having to deal with the corrupt police that doesn't trust him and vicious criminals that don't fear him, while at the same time dealing with this mysterious figure that collected some dirty, heavy secrets from Gotham's most important figures and releases them in order to cause chaos in the city. And here you were thinking that the Batman was original. You might notice a conspicuous absence of the words Riddler or Riddle in that summary that I gave you, and that's because they don't actually exist. Yeah, he's Enigma now and there are no riddles, which just fucking sucks. I know that I said that the riddles were bad, but they are a very important part of the character because they keep the writers humble. When you're putting a bunch of stupid riddles in your story, you remember that you're writing the Riddler, and stupid bullshit is not only common, but expected. I still maintain the opinion of my last video. You cannot take the ridiculousness out of the Riddler. And to be honest, I don't even know why you would want to. That's what makes him fun, that's what makes him special. But the Riddler is the kind of character that the more ridiculous he is, the less ridiculous he ends up being. I want you to imagine a graph. The x-axis being how over the top he is, and the y-graph is how much we respect him. In the beginning it's a very straightforward downward line, but it actually curves up because it ends up reaching a point that he's obviously self-aware about it and is just having fun, and being that uncaring about other people's opinions actually makes him a Sigma Chad Alpha. You can see this emotion in the Arkham games. The Arkham trilogy made a Riddler that's very fun. You go to Arkham City and he plastered the entire city with question marks glowing green, and he taunts you to collect his trophies. But then the team that made Arkham Origins said, well, Riddler trophies are stupid and dumb. A real hacker would collect something more valuable and less stupid, like blackmail secrets. So we should make him spread data packs with valuable secrets all over city in very reachable locations so Batman can grab them. That is much less ridiculous. God, the world sucks now. You don't have a dirty, broken part of Gotham anymore. Everything's still functioning, therefore more boring. There are no more giant glowing question marks or nice trophies or popping balloons. It's just duck under these grates. The Riddler informants also aren't randomly spawning thugs. Now they're fixed in different locations, which makes no sense whatsoever, because why would they be standing in the same place all the time? And how did Batman get this data? Does the Riddler, Enigma, have a fucking spreadsheet with all his informants and where to find them? But this problem in story is compensated by all the changes in gameplay. You see, since they're not randomly spawning and they're fixed NPCs, they can be knocked out because they're the only source of that specific info. So that extra layer on complexity in the fights is gone, and that makes the game more boring. Wait, but I gotta say, those guys at Warner Brothers Montreal do have a lot of confidence in their work, because if something goes wrong with a randomly spawned thug, it's easier to ignore him and walk away and wait for another one to spawn. But if something goes wrong with a fixed NPC, boy, that guy's going to stay fucked forever. But I guess we should be thankful that the team is full of programmers that know what they're doing, so all the informants work perfectly, and there wouldn't be a case of, say, an informant being impossible to interrogate, so you have to look up the trophies online and find out that he was supposed to tell you about the trophies inside a building that you already went through in story mode, so you have to go there again. Boy, am I glad that I didn't have to go through that experience. After they fucked up everything that Rocksteady built for the character, they couldn't be bothered to plan the Riddler trophy, so they just let their unpaid intern do it, leading to one of the worst game designs I have ever seen in a AAA game. A lot of you bitch about the number of trophies in Arkham City, but that's because there are a lot of big buildings that you need to constantly return to and are easy to navigate. In Arkham Origins, these huge, destroyed buildings that navigating is almost a platforming challenge. And they spread out fucking, 12 trophies in there? So you have to go through an entire fucking thing just to get, 2 or 3? My theory is that the intern saw these boring places, thought they were boring, said, oh boy, why don't I put one of those data packs in here so I can liven up the place, and skipped away, unaware that we will have to come back and collect it. And you're probably wondering, Laura, why are you suggesting that this game puts no Riddler trophies or data packs inside of buildings? If you like the Riddler challenges so much, then surely you are glad that there are more of them, right? Yeah, but here's the thing, that placement of data packs ruins the entire game. One of the best parts of the game is that there's this giant tower that you need to climb, and the Joker redecorated it, put like a fucking roller coaster, a bunch of shit, and you don't really understand the layout of what you're seeing. It's just fucking crazy. The problem is that you have to go back to take some data packs and the entire thing is ruined. You literally have to figure out the placement of everything in the building, and the magic is destroyed. How did the Riddler even put this here? Joker built it 2 hours ago. Why don't you go ahead and put some data packs in the Batcave, you piece of shit game? And you know what the worst part is? Instead you actually jump out of the building in an awesome cutscene. But since they left the unpaid intern to take care of the Riddler trophies, they didn't code a quick way for you to exit the building after you return to it. So you have to trek all the way back. Look at this beautiful open window. If only they put a little prompt to have Batman jump out and lay below. You wouldn't even need a cutscene, just fade to black. But that's not the worst part. You see, sometimes you see some beautiful Riddler trophies in the map, and the buildings are locked, and you need to go through an entire side quest to get access to the building and get like 1 or 2. Yeah, googling how to defeat my enemies, this game really makes me feel like Batman. I don't have this much of a problem if the side quests were short and interesting. Arkham City had some riddles and trophies hidden away behind side quests, but the difference is that they were very short. Arkham Origins says, hey, you know that penguin side quest that consisted of you going to icon on map, finding the dudes and destroying the thing, and you only did it to hear Barbara telling you how smart you are? Yeah, Pac-Man's quest is the same thing, but it has 1 trophy attached and doesn't have any characters you like. Chop chop! There was even one bug associated with the main side quest, so it's another instance of Warner Brothers Montreal having very unreasonable self-esteem. So without that, I guess I can say that the Riddler challenges in Arkham Origins are the best part of the game. What can I say? I love that crap. I love looking for them, using my brain to figure out the challenge and listening to the Riddler pissed off because I'm breaking all his shit. I do recommend that you at least give them a try. Some are genuinely fun. But I can't in good conscience recommend that you do them all. Just do it until you get annoyed and then look up the ending cutscene in YouTube. Trust me, it's not worth it. You just see the room where he operates and just looks so boring. How did this guy become the Riddler anyway? He wanted to spread the secrets of powerful people and that somehow morphed him into putting a bunch of trophies in Arkham Asylum. How did that happen? Putting a little bit of characterization in Riddler's lair would help solving this gap between the games, but all we get is a fucking stupid Riddler trophy. Why did he even make this? Anyway, nice game. Had fun. I hate driving. Boy, is this one complicated. It has higher highs, but it also has lower lows. First of all, I love how absolutely deranged the Riddler is. I'm not even talking about the gigantic underground racing tracks and Batmobile puzzles. I'm talking about how you're exploring this fucking Zeppelin lab and you find a secret room painted in green, or you install a massive machine right on your base. I missed you, Riddler. I can't believe they thought I would be satisfied with your cringe teenage self. There are good puzzles here, some even great, but I kinda wish there weren't, because that would mean that I wouldn't have to play this game. I know it sounds really harsh, but to be fair, it feels like the game doesn't want me to play it. I was doing the Catgirl stuff and he told me to go to the third island, but the bridge wasn't down yet, so the fucking Batmobile couldn't go through it. So I had to hear him whining while I'm doing the main question. My dude, I want to go near the church, but I literally can't. You should know this. This is baffling to me because usually the Riddler stuff is naturally paced with the gadget progression, but this time the game slapped the controller from me and said, "What the hell are you doing? This game is called Arkham Knight. You fight the Arkham Knight. Now stop doing things that are fun and that we put in the game and go listen to him whine for 10 minutes. I know that it feels like I'm spending too much time whining about this, that the third bridge does open halfway through the game, but this isn't the only side quest in which this happens. I was doing the penguin missions and the game stopped me. Hey, you can't go any further, Nightwing is doing his research. Well, that seems kind of stupid and it's taking way too long. Well, he's doing his best. What, you expect him to act like a bunch of code optimized by engineers with the sole purpose of entertaining you, you bastard, you piece of shit? I do understand that this game was made before Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring popularized the true open world game, which there are no icons on maps telling you where to go and you can just do whatever they want. But holy shit, were we really okay with this? Maybe this was a necessity because no one would go complete the main story otherwise. If I could point to the biggest difference between Knight and all the other games is that when you go play, say, Arkham City, you go fight the Joker, then you go fight the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Ra's al Ghul, Clayface. In Arkham Origins, you fight many assassins while fighting Black Mask. In Arkham Knight, you fight the Arkham Knight and everyone else is a side quest, so if you don't like him, well, you're fucked. Gotta do those mandatory tank sections. Incidentally, did anyone else get Riddler vibes from Scarecrow? I know I'm not the only one who noticed because I heard the thugs making comments about how they both keep appearing in screens making grand speeches. But I swear to God, I heard a thug talking about how it didn't matter that the Cloudburster got destroyed because the Scarecrow proved that he could totally do this if he really wanted to. And I'm like, holy shit, there's Riddler logic! Am I going insane? Am I the only one who noticed this? So, should you complete the Riddler challenges in Arkham Knight? To be fair, I have no idea. I, for example, know that many of you enjoyed beating up the guy in the ending because you didn't want to collect all the trophies, but the Nightfall Protocol forced you to. So you showed him what an insignificant worm he is and rubbed his face in the gravel. But I actually wanted to do the puzzle, so I didn't really feel satisfied with the ending at all, because I actually wanted to do this, and instead of feeling like I defeated a worthy opponent, it just felt like I completely wasted my time taking care of this pathetic worm. On the other hand, seeing him go through all the 5 stages of grief on the last 10 trophies was absolutely beautiful.
Bye. Only 10 riddles remaining. You must be getting rather nervous at the thought of confronting me, right? You do realize, Detective, that we are going to fight, don't you? To the death. I, of course, am not afraid. But I want you to consider solving the remaining 9 riddles very carefully. For your own sake. 6 riddles left. This is patently absurd. You should have literally died from the mental exhaustion hours ago. 3 left. My, you're rather keen on fighting me, aren't you? Well, good. I'm looking forward to it too. 2 left? 2 riddles remaining? It's impossible. It's like I've been transported to some alternate reality where you are the genius and I am the idiot with an overinflated sense of his own abilities.
But then again, it doesn't really matter if you want to do it or not, because you have to do it, because you don't want to watch the ending cutscene on YouTube, and you have to do it because of Nightfall Protocol. So I'm going to spend the rest of this video complaining about Arkham Knight and grading it like a very tired teacher. Too much Batmobile, self-explanatory. Took out perspective, riddle, self-explanatory. Trophies that require finishing other side quests. Whoa, I have a lot to say about this. I don't mind the main bat one because it's short, but Professor Pig has no excuse, except for the fact that it was genuinely fun and not generic. But there's another one that was actually my last because it didn't show up on my map, and I looked it up online because I didn't want to waste my time looking for Riddler informants when I only needed one. So it was apparently in the sewers, but after stumbling into a particularly unhelpful guide, I looked up the exact route on YouTube, only to find that the tunnel I was supposed to go was blocked. And another guy said, yeah, you know the penguin mission that the game literally stopped you from doing? It turns out you need to do it! What the hell, Arkham Knight? So this whole experience made me lose a significant amount of goodwill I had towards the game, so Arkham City is the best. Not only because it has a lot of creative and engaging challenges, but also has the least amount of bullshit. If you disagree with me, why don't you go to the comments and argue with me, try to prove me wrong, or even talk about your own experiences with the glitches in Arkham Origins. I still talk about it like, I don't know, some kind of recovery group for PTSD suffering soldiers.